What's up and welcome back for another episode of Power Rankings presented to you by IBM Watson. I am Reinforce. I am your host, as I was the host of this past weekend when Zoe was in Hawaii. Next time, it's my turn to go to Hawaii. I hope anyway. Please, John, may I please go to Hawaii? It would be fun to go to Hawaii. So, you know, if me and Costa, we could go there, Danny and Zoe spend there, I would be a big fan of that. I'm just saying. Just saying, John, if you're watching, just saying. I'd like to go to Hawaii, please. Please take me to Hawaii. We're here for another week of amazing power rankings presented to you by IBM Watson. Tons have changed, especially because we had an amazing weekend behind us full of playoff Overwatch. The Summer Showdown concluded, of course, with the winners coming out on top. One more time, back to back, it's the Shanghai Dragons. Second team ever in Overwatch League history to win back-to-back stage titles. New York Excelsior were the first ones in 2018, where they won Stage 2, reverse sweeping the Philadelphia Fusion, as well as winning Stage 3 over the Boston Uprising. And now Shanghai Dragons, they've done it themselves, winning the June Joust, winning the Summer Showdown. Big congratulations to them. Amazing performance by them. I mean, it was dominant in the finals. It wasn't even close. Like, I'm sorry, Chengdu. The finals wasn't close. Shanghai, they're that good right now. So this obviously affected the rankings a ton. Dallas Fuel, they ended in third. Chengdu Hunters in second. So we're about to get some movement. But what hasn't moved, okay, I'm learning my segues here. I'm learning my segues as a host. What hasn't changed is the team rankings, at least in the top anyway. Dallas Fuel, they are still the #1 teams. If you're a Shanghai player or a Shanghai fan at this point, you're like molding your brains out. You're like, what more do we have to do? But IBM Watson, this is how it calculates. Dallas Fuel, they have a rating of 125. The Shanghai Dragons, they have a rating of 124. So that's about as close as it gets, right? 1 point differential. So Shanghai Dragons, if you honestly come out in the Countdown Cup and you have like one dominant qualifier match and then Dallas Fuel like lose a map or so, I mean, there you have it. That's #1 secured in the power rankings presented to you by IBM Watson. So it's obviously so close between those two top spots. But Dallas Fuel, they are still holding on to that top spot. I mean, they have been top 3 now for 3 consecutive stages. I mean, they started the Shanghai Dragons, but they want to. So I guess at some point you do want to be #1, but it's coming. If the Shanghai Dragons continue with this pace, it's coming all right. Absolutely. What else changed in the team rankings is, of course, Los Angeles Gladiators. They are #3 now with a rating of 116, and Atlanta, they have a rating of 115. So Atlanta didn't have the best Summer Showdown playoffs. They took 2 losses. It was against the Shanghai Dragons and the Dallas Fuel. I mean, it's tough. Those are tough matchups. But losing 2 matches, the LA Gladiators are going to jump ahead because they remained at 116, and Atlanta, they fell to 115. So if you're a Gladiators fan, I mean, you're happy. You just got a free spot essentially. Not doing a ton of work this weekend. Chengdu Hunters, they're at rating 107. But, you know, they're still hovering down there in the top 10. But they could definitely make a leap up to #5. #5 teams, they're tied at 109. So if you get to rating 110, that's 3 rating points, okay? That's just 1 match, 2 qualifier matches. You look dominant, leave. If he's clapping, I mean, at that point, you're definitely going to jump ahead of some of these teams and get to #5. So that's it for the team rankings. Very exciting, very close stuff. Could go either way. Moving on to our player rankings, this is going to be the Shanghai Dragons edition. They were so good this past weekend. They've been so good for the past 3 stages now, winning back-to-back. Fate, he's jumped up to #3. He jumped up 4 spots in total. Fate is someone, of course, who I wouldn't say really criticized. We had questions about him going into this season. We know that he was really good on the Florida Mayhem last year. Huge part of why the Florida Mayhem were successful in the first place in 2020. But joining the Shanghai Dragons, replacing Fearless, could he do that? Did he bring what was needed to the table? Well, Fate, he's answered a lot of our questions so far. 3/4 way into the regular season now, winning back-to-back stage titles. So Fate, IBM Watson, they appreciate Fate. The numbers are churning. They're popping off. He's on a hot streak. So Fate, he climbs up to #3. That's 4 spots. He's climbed 4 spots this past week. So that means he had a great weekend. Isayaki is another player who has jumped. The flex support for the Shanghai Dragons. Someone we haven't talked about enough, I would say. Last year was all about Alarm on the Philadelphia Fusion. It was about Violet on the San Francisco Shock. But so far, it's been a, Fielder. He had a good melee. He's been great overall. But Izayaki, I think at this point, Izayaki proved his point this past weekend that he probably is the best flex support in the league. I don't think you can argue with that right now. Izayaki, he's that strong. So he jumped up to number 7, climbed 9 spots, and he's the number 1 support now. He's tied with Fielder, but Izayaki is the number 1 support because they use some differential behind the scenes, some decimals and stuff. IBM Watson is literally saying that he is the number 1 support, just slightly above Fielder. So credit to Izayaki, fantastic weekend from him. Fleta, our 2020 Overwatch League MVP, he is at number 14. He jumped 11 spots. He's making progress, he's climbing up there. Fleta, of course, had an amazing weekend, of course. He's at rating 118, so he's tied with Decay and tied with Pelican. That's an amazing tie if I've ever seen one. There's tons of players that are hovering at about 120, 123 rating. Fleta is definitely climbing. It can change on the flip of a coin, so look out for him climbing more. I bet you he's going to be in the top 10 in the Countdown Cup. Like the way he's playing right now, he's going to be in the top 10 for sure. If we take a look at the damage rankings, just the damage players, Lip is going to be number 1. He is currently, my personal opinion, I'm just saying, he is my frontrunner to be the MVP of the 2021 season. I think he's been incredible throughout. He takes that spot from Sparkle. Lip, now number 1 damage player in the league, according to IBM Watson. Fate and Void, the tanks for the Shanghai Dragons, they're still hovering around number 3, number 4. Hanbin and Fearless, I mean, they are in the sky. They're just like above and beyond. They're insane this season. So Hanbin sitting at a rating of 132. He's a monster. Hanbin is a monster. We don't talk enough about Hanbin and the input he's having on the Dallas Fuel. It was very noticeable in the knockout match against the Washington Justice just how sick Hanbin was. I mean, he is incredible. So we can't forget, when we talk about the tanks of the league, yes, Fearless, he's great on that main tank role. But at some point, maybe we're doing a disservice to Hanbin, not mentioning him enough. And, people mention Hanbin. I'm not going to be like, yeah, Hanbin's underrated. But the way he's playing, it's like, is he the best off tank in the league? If you think that Hanbin is the best off tank in the league, if you don't think so, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think about Hanbin, because really, is he the best off tank in the league right now? Is he better than Void? I think it's worth a conversation, at least. It's worth a discussion. Definitely keep an eye out for him, just like keeping his number 1 spot for the tanks anyway. Finally, to wrap up the video, I just wanted to mention the Tracer rankings. I believe I talked about this last week as well. Tracer was, of course, hugely important this weekend. So if you're a great Tracer and you're popping off, it's definitely going to aid your team in getting these dubs. And that's what we saw with Lee, for example, for the Chengdu Hunters. He climbs up to the number 4 spot. He was number 5 last week. Sparkle dropped heavy. He was number 2, I believe, last week. He's number 6 now. And Fleta is the big gainer in the Tracer rankings. Climbs up to number 2, above Lip. Noteworthy, of course, Lip, he spent most of his time on Sombra and stuff like that, for example, because he is that good on the hero. But Fleta, he put in the work this past weekend. And I mean, you're playing against the best of the best. I mean, he played against Leave twice. I mean, that's a tough challenge for Fleta. And he still got away gaining score and ends up number 2 on the Tracer ranking. So phenomenal stuff from the Shanghai Dragons. Really impressive weekend. So much fun to watch as well. The Wrecking Ball compositions, the Tracer, the Sombra, the Pharah. I love this type of Overwatch, so it was just a blast to watch Overwatch League this past weekend, to be honest with you. As always, if you want to see the rankings for yourself, they update on every Monday around noon Pacific time, that is, and you can go check out the rankings yourself on overwatchleague.com. There's a stats tab. You can click on that. You can go to the power rankings. We got team rankings, player rankings, hero rankings. If you want to see who is the best Symmetra, okay? I'm not talking to Siri, okay? Siri, I'm not really asking you right now, okay? But I'm just saying, you can go check those stats for yourself. So you don't need to rely on Siri for asking those kind of questions. We have that on the overwatchleague.com IBM Watson website. So go check it out. Updates are on noon Pacific time every Monday. If not, of course, I'll be here every Wednesday on the Overwatch League YouTube channel. Subscribe, like the video, leave a comment down below. How good is Hanbin? Okay, we need to have this conversation. Is Hanbin the best off tank in the league? I'm excited. I'm looking forward to the reply, guys, down there in the comments down below. Take care, everybody. Have a nice break, and I'll see you back for the Countdown Cup, July 30th. We're gonna kick things off here on the Overwatch League YouTube channel, so stay tuned. Hero pools are coming up. It's the last stage of the 2021 season. Wow, I'm sad just saying that. Anyway, this has been Power Rankings with IBM Watson. I hope you do take care, and I'll see you very soon for some more Overwatch League action. Take care.